Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's broadcast. Today is August 1, 2026, and it is a beautiful Saturday. I'm your host, Sano Annie, and I am super excited to be here with you today. As always, I hope you are having a fantastic weekend so far. Today, I'm going to be introducing a super fascinating and training article from the archive, and I just know you are going to find it as interesting as I do. The title of the paper we are looking at today is called Talker, Multi-Speaker Dialog Modeling in Noisy Social Environments with Turn Action GRPO. The quorum is at snartivard part YD6. I'm 7.27,756 on. And I know that sounds like a mouthful, but do not worry, because I am going to break it all down for you. So, let us start by talking about the main problem this paper is trying to solve. You know how when you use a voice assistant on your phone or smart speaker, it usually expects you to be in a quiet room, and it expects that you're the only one talking directly to it. Well, in the real world, things are rarely that simple. Real-life social conversations are messy, and they're full of background noise, like other people chatting, music playing, or just general city sounds. This is often called the cocktail party problem, where multiple people might be talking at once, and it is super hard for a computer to figure out who is talking to who. Sometimes a person is talking to the assistant, but sometimes they are just talking to their friend right next to them, or maybe they are just thinking out loud. Current spoken dialogue systems get really confused by this, because they are built for simple, one-on-one interactions. To fix this, the researchers introduced a brand new speech large language model framework, which they named the Talker. The coolest part about this model is that it gives the assistant 3 specific actions to choose from. These actions are respond, listen, and ignore. That is right, the assistant actually has to decide whether it should speak up, whether it should just quietly listen to the conversation, or whether it should completely ignore background noises that do not matter. For example, if you ask it a direct question, if you are talking to your friend about something relevant, it might choose to listen so it has context for later. And if there is just a loud truck driving by, it would choose to ignore it. To train this incredibly smart model, the team had to create a special data pipeline called Dialog. Since it is super hard to record thousands of hours of perfectly labeled noisy conversations in the real world, they used a large language model to simulate realistic multi-speaker dialogues. They generated conversations for 18 different environments, like kitchens, living rooms, parks, and even subway stations. They added background noises and mixed the audio at different varying levels, which they call signal-to-noise ratios, to make it sound just like real life. They ended up making over 70,000 noisy audio mixtures, which is roughly 1,280 hours of training data. Now let us dig a little deeper into how they actually trained the main Talker model. They started with a base model called 2.5 Omni, which is a thinker, and a talker architecture. The thinker processes the audio and generates text, and the talker synthesizes that text into speech. First, they used supervised fine-tuning, which basically taught the model the basic rules of when to use the respond, listen, and ignore tokens. But they did not stop there. They used a reinforcement learning technique called Group Relative Policy Optimization, or GRPO for short. This technique rewarded the model for making the correct term-taking decisions and for keeping its formatting perfect. By doing this, the model got significantly better at knowing when to stay silent, and it learned to catch the moments where it was supposed to speak but previously missed. When they compared WIMP-tail to other advanced technologies, the results were super impressive. Other models, like Moshi or Personaplex, always try to produce speech, which means they just constantly interrupt people in a multi-speaker setting. Even models that were prompted with text instructions, like Stepacudio 2 or Kimitadia, struggle to balance responding and staying silent. But Matt Talker achieved over 92% accuracy in its turn decisions. It proved to be super robust. Even when the background noise was loud, or when the speakers did not use explicit names to address each other. So how can we apply this amazing technology to our everyday lives? I have 3 specific application examples to share with you, and they are all super exciting. First, right now, if you have a smart speaker in your living room, and the television is on, and the kids are playing loudly, the speaker might accidentally trigger and say something random. With Dialog technology, the smart speaker could listen to the chaotic environment, ignore the television and the kids playing, and only respond when you specifically ask it to change the thermostat or play a song. It would understand the social context of the living room, making smart homes much less annoying and far more intuitive to use. Second, this could completely revolutionize public service robots or information kiosks. I picture a busy train station where a service robot is standing by to help tourists. Usually train stations are incredibly noisy, with announcements, trains braking, and crowds chatting. If a group of tourists walks up to the robot and starts debating among themselves about which train to catch, a normal system might get confused and interrupt them, but a robot powered by Walk-Halker would use its listen action while the tourists figure out their question, ignore the passing trains, and only use the respond action when one of the tourists directly asks the robot for directions. This would make interacting with robots in public spaces feel completely natural, just like talking to a real human staff member. Third, this technology could have a massive impact on accessibility devices, like smart audio glasses for the visually impaired, for someone navigating a crowded street. Having an AI assistant that can summarize the environment is helpful, but having one that constantly talks over important sounds would be dangerous. Using this paper framework, the smart glasses could continuously monitor the complex auditory scene. It would ignore irrelevant background chatter from strangers, listen for important cues, respond or alert the user when someone is speaking directly to them, or when there is a critical piece of information they need to hear. This selective participation would provide a much safer and more comfortable experience for the user. It is just so amazing to think about how far speech AI has come. Instead of just focusing on making the voices sound realistic, researchers are finally teaching AI the social manners of conversation. Knowing when to be quiet is just as important as knowing what to say, and a Talker is a huge step in that direction. The fact that they trained it to understand both formal assisting vibes and casual relaxed vibes just shows how versatile it is. Even though the researchers mentioned that real-world deployment still has some challenges, like needing to process audio perfectly in real time, the foundation they have built here is incredibly strong. I really hope we get to see this kind of smart AI in our gadgets very soon. Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive. I hope you enjoyed learning about Talker as much as I enjoyed talking about it. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and please enjoy the rest of your wonderful Saturday. Stay curious, stay happy, and I will catch you on the next broadcast.